Now you will learn. Could people 3 to 5 meters tall have once lived on Earth? Why do real archaeological finds contradict school history? How were giant tools, doors, and underground cities found in different countries from Australia to Turkey? Did our world really experience several cycles of civilizations that are not mentioned in textbooks? What you are about to hear may forever change your perception of humanity's past. The debate about the existence of ancient giants continues, as more and more strange finds and archaeological discoveries challenge the official history of humanity. Although modern people readily believe in dinosaurs, whose bones are found all over the world, they categorically refuse to accept the existence of giants, people 3 to 5 meters tall, who may have lived alongside our ancestors. However, more and more facts indicate that the pages of ancient history may have been rewritten or hidden. Many ancient cultures have preserved references to superhuman beings in myths, legends, and sacred texts. These stories are so similar to each other that it is difficult to believe in their accidental coincidence. Greek myths describe Cyclops, Northern tales describe mighty giants, and American legends describe giants who lived in mountains and underground. Such references have been preserved in our culture, but for some reason, school curricula ignore them. If you look closely at the architecture of the past, questions arise one after another. Many ancient cities still have gates, doors, and openings so large that modern humans look like dwarfs next to them. The blocks used to build walls and temples often weigh tens of tons, and it is unclear how people of our stature could have moved them. It all looks as if the city was created for beings much taller and stronger than us. But if giants really existed, where are their cities? In 1963, about 300 kilometers southeast of Ankara, archaeologists stumbled upon something amazing: 2 cities hidden under a layer of sand and solidified volcanic ash. The landscape of that area still resembles the surface of the moon, even though it is in the heart of Turkey. In the 9th century, people turned the strange stone towers, formed naturally, into dwellings and even carved churches with colorful frescoes into them. But the real sensation was hidden deeper. Giant underground cities designed for tens of thousands of inhabitants were discovered under Cappadocia. Ventilation shafts, dozens of meters deep, are still being found in the rock, some descending to 85 meters. Researchers estimate that more than 300,000 people could have lived in such an underground complex at the same time. Today, at least 36 such cities are known. And the most interesting thing is not this, but the fact that their plans are thought out with amazing precision. Levels, passages, ventilation, storage systems. Locals are convinced that there are many more undiscovered structures hidden underground, and that they are all connected by tunnels, but the main question remains unanswered. From whom or what were those who built these grandiose shelters hiding? After all, an enemy on the surface could easily cut off their air or food supplies. There is still no answer to this question, and that is what makes this mystery even more disturbing. Legends of giants exist not only in large civilizations, they still live among the small tribes of the Amazon. In the Ecuadorian jungle, elders tell of hidden giant cities, hidden deep in the impenetrable thickets, where no ordinary person has ever set foot. It was these stories that led archaeologist Benoit to the heart of the Amazon, a tribe that had preserved the memory of the ancient great people from generation to generation, showed him a place that even local researchers did not know about. There, among the evergreen thickets, stood a giant pyramid made of massive stone blocks. Some of them weighed several tons and were so huge that a modern person would not be able to lift them, let alone move them from their place. Even more impressive were the tools found nearby. Hammers, wedges, and levers were so large that only a creature much stronger and larger than a human could use them. If we discard the giant theory, there is simply no explanation for these objects. Local residents are convinced that this is the work of an ancient race of giants who lived here long before the civilizations we know today. And what archaeologists are finding today is only a tiny fraction of what the Amazonian soil hides. By the way, regarding the technologies of ancient Egypt, not far from the pyramids of Giza, just about 9 miles away, lies the town of Abu Sir. During the 5th dynasty, there were also 3 pyramids here. But the most interesting thing is not them, but the stone quarries nearby. This is where diorite, an extremely hard rock that is difficult to cut even with modern tools, was processed. Perfectly round holes were found in the diorite blocks. Their shape and smoothness indicate that someone worked with a tool capable not only of withstanding enormous pressure, but also of passing evenly through a material harder than steel. Creating such a hole requires not only strength or skill, but also knowledge of the structure of the stone and a special mechanism that provides stable pressure on the drill. Of course, people have been able to drill since the Stone Age, but manual methods do not allow for such even channels with millimeter precision. This requires equipment that is capable of much more than manually rotating a tool. These holes show that those who worked at Abu Sir possessed not only strength and experience, but also technologies that were far ahead of their time. Perhaps their level of engineering knowledge was much higher than we are accustomed to imagining when looking at the history of ancient Egypt. No less impressive are reports of skeletons of people over 3 meters tall found in the 20th century, from the United States to Australia and China. In many cases, these were fully formed human skeletons, proportional, with massive joints and extremely large skulls. Unlike individual bones, which can still be attributed to mutations, such finds testified to the existence of a whole variety of people twice our size. It is also suspicious that some of the finds seem to disappear after being published in the press. They were either taken away by private foundations for research or suddenly declared fake without any proper examination. It seems that history carefully avoids anything that does not fit into the official scheme of human development. This selectivity is also noticeable in ancient frescoes and bas-reliefs. On the walls of temples in different countries, you can find scenes where creatures twice as large as humans are depicted alongside them. In some bas-reliefs, giants hold objects, books, weapons, or tools that, due to their size, could not have belonged to an ordinary craftsman. These are not random decorative elements. They are complex scenes, executed with the same attention to detail as all the others. Bolivia is home to the Puma Punku complex, ruins that look as if they were designed by a 21st century engineer. Here lie megaliths with perfectly flat edges, polished to a mirror-like smoothness, with geometry more reminiscent of the work of an industrial factory than that of ancient tribes. Some blocks weigh over 100 tons. But what is most impressive is not even their size, but their precision. The holes and grooves are cut so evenly that it is impossible to insert a razor blade between them. The angles are 90 degrees. The grooves are identical to the millimeter, and the shape of the individual H blocks requires technology that could work simultaneously in 3 dimensions with fixed pressure. If we assume that these structures were made by ordinary Inca tribes or their ancestors, the question arises, what tools did they have? The granite and diorite that make up Puma Punku are harder than steel, but archaeology claims that people of that time used only stone hammers. There are 2 possible explanations. Either these blocks were created by beings with superhuman strength, or machines were operating in these lands, the technology of which we cannot even imagine today. Even more shocking is the Baalbek complex in Lebanon. On the terrace of the local temple center lies a giant monolith known as the Stone of the South. It weighs about 1,000 tons. 1,000 tons is equivalent to a 10-story building stacked into a cube. Modern cranes are not capable of moving such a mass, but someone in ancient times not only moved this stone, but also installed it on a platform made of blocks, even larger in size. And the main question is, why? There is no religious, engineering, or practical reason to create such titanic structures with the hands of people who supposedly had only ropes and wooden rollers. Baalbek seems to have been deliberately designed to raise one question: who commissioned this project and what technology did they use? Some researchers suggest that Puma Punku and Baalbek are not accidental phenomena. They may be fragments of a global architectural system, the infrastructure of a civilization that possessed incredible knowledge of geometry, navigation, stone processing, and robotics. A civilization that either disappeared or was displaced, and its memory was transformed into myths about giants, gods, or demigods. There is simply no place for such a model in official history, and that is why it is ignored, not discussed, and not studied. Because recognizing one simple fact changes everything. There could have been a civilization before us, whose technology and power were superior to ours. All this leads to a simple but disturbing conclusion. The history of humanity is much older and more complex than we are used to thinking. If giants really existed, they could have been part of a previous cycle of civilization that disappeared as a result of major catastrophes. Their traces have been almost erased by time, but they can still be seen in architecture, folklore, and artifacts. Despite the reluctance of official science to acknowledge such facts, the truth is gradually coming to light, and perhaps it is the answer to the question of giants that will force us to reconsider our ideas about the origins of humanity. After all, if we acknowledge the existence of another branch of humanity, one that is much more powerful and ancient, we will have to rewrite not only history, but also our very understanding of who we are. It may turn out that our civilization is not the first or the most developed. It may be just another attempt by humanity to rise after the collapse of previous eras. And until we dare to face the truth, the shadows of ancient giants will continue to accompany us, like silent reminders of a past that we are still not ready to accept.